It seems we finally got one of our Magistus imports right after they were released in Master Duel as well. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome if you're new here. I'm Don and today we'll be looking at a few combos that we can do now that we have the Magistus Link 2 and Endymion the Crescent of Magistus. As per usual, let's have a look at the cards. And something to note, you don't have to be playing Necro's Dracotail to be making use of this combo. However, the reason for Necro's Dracotail is the whole point of getting the bodies that you need to perform specific combos. So you don't really have to go into these extravagant Eschatos combos, Protoss combos, or even like the ritual summoning. You can just play the deck as bare bones as possible with the 3 Avents, 3 Amelia, Birnak, and the Unicorn just for the recyclability. Now with that out of the way, let's actually have a look at the card. Endymion, the Crescent of Magistus. It's a Link 2 light spellcaster monster with 1850 attack, similar to the Charmers, and it requires 2 monsters including a level 4 spellcaster monster. That's pretty easy in Dracotail because you do have a level 4 spellcaster. However, the combo that you want to do with it requires you to have the Artemis in the grave, and you'd need a level 4 lower spellcaster to make the Artemis. So this is why either the Magistus package or the Necros package is really good if you're going to make use of this card. And the Magistus package, to be honest, unless we have the new fusion, which is Invoke Magistus Omega, it wouldn't really make sense because you can't completely bridge into the Dracotail engine. However, with this card, you at least can make use of a dead 5 mana in your hand to bridge into your Dracotail engine, or even if the spellcaster in your hand was the Lucius or even the new level 2 spellcaster, it can work. Alright, so for its effect, if this card is Link Summon, you can target 1 Magistus monster you control, equip it with 1 spellcaster monster from your graveyard or banishment. During the main phase, you can target 1 spellcaster card in your spell trap zone that is treated as an equipped spell, return it to the hand. You can only use 1 of these effects per turn. So what you're pretty much going to do is you're going to make Artemis, Link Summon this card, and then equip the Artemis from the grave, which will then make you be able to use the Artemis equip card effect to add the Crowley, which is going to fuse with one of your spellcasters in your hand to make the next Magistus fusion monster, which is the one that equips in steel. And that's really to, let's say, trigger any one of your spellcaster Dracotails. If you have something like the light Dracotail, you can make a Mekaba, which will then give you an Omni-Negate along with the Dracotail monster, setting you one of your Dracotail spells or traps. So depending on the spellcaster that is in your hand, or let's say the attribute that's in your hand, that's the fusion that your Crowley would then go into. So let's have a look at that. So right here, you don't really have to search anything important with the Birnak. You just want to use this effect to get at least one of your names out of your deck that you wouldn't really want to draw. So you leave cards in a deck like Unicorn and search cards like the Exa if you're playing it, or the Redbeard. Once you use them as fusion material, it wouldn't really matter because you can always have access to them later in the game. There's also a world where you can play 2 Unicorn and none of the other rituals aside from Birnak, simply because Unicorn can add back any one of your Necros cards from your grave to your hand. So the whole reason why you have the monster right now is so that you can use your Dracotail fusion spell. Alright, so what you accomplish here is having 5 mana in hand, you have the Zora to negate by sending the Artemis. You don't really want to send this because you want to use its effect to return this to the hand, which would then trigger it to summon himself. And then you can fuse into something like a Mekaba, seeing that it's a light monster. So you usually do that after you use Zora's effect to send the Artemis. Or if you have another light monster in your hand, then you can always just do that at any point in time. The Mekaba is obviously going to be another form of interruption. This guy is also a form of interruption with a steal, but you wouldn't really want to steal and then send him, because if you steal and send him, the monster would be returned back to the opponent. I'm sure I covered that in the previous video. If you made it this far into the video, you can leave a like, that'll be appreciated. And if you want to see more videos from me, you can check out my channel. And if you want to see more videos from me in the future, you can subscribe to the channel. With that, let's get back into the video. Alright, so with a combo like this, where you have a light monster in hand, your first fusion summon would pretty much be an Omni Negate, depending on the correct materials that you have in hand to negate with. Alright, so similar to the board before, you have the Zora to negate, you have the Mechaba this time instead of the Magistus fusion, and you still end with the 5 mana in hand. And the thing about this is, if you have other monsters in hand, the fact that Zora can pretty much equip any monster from your grave to himself, you can use the Magistus Link 2 to return any spellcaster that is equipped in your spell and trap zone to your hand and then just use it material. So you always have access to one of your Dracotail spellcasters as a fusion material in your hand. If you have like a dead hand trap, let's say a Fua, you can just use the 5 mana to fuse the Fua and any one of your spellcaster Dracotail monsters that was equipped in the spell trap zone. And that doesn't take away from your negates because you still have the Artemis in the spell and trap zone that is equipped to the Link 2. So you don't have to just go the Crowley line. You can always do that play pretty much. And that's pretty much it for today, guys. And I'll update you if anything new comes along or if there are any new combos that have been discovered. But this is pretty much what we have for the moment. Peace out.